Hello everybody, welcome, and hello as I adjust my mic and headset, but this is going to be a cool game. We are going to be watching EGiNcrontroL. He is the red Protoss in the bottom left. He's going to go up against Attero, the blue Protoss, in the top right. Both these players are really strong players, grandmasters, and just pretty much awesome. Although I don't think EGiNcrontroL is actually laddered into grandmaster quite yet. He is a very strong player, part of evil geniuses, but as for getting this replay, we have to thank Attero for releasing replay packs. So just a brief shout out to him for being awesome. Right now both these players are talking. I think one of them sick, one doesn't sleep, I don't know. So hey, this could be a really interesting and quirky game. Attero is an incredibly strong player, streams a lot, seems like a very cool guy. I don't know him, but he seems like a fun person to hang out with. And he reps Protoss, which in itself is fun. And, oh, that hurts. I don't know if you guys know this, but Idra is actually Greg Fields in real life. That's his actual name. So Greg went ahead and took a lot of Attero's ladder points today, so that's unfortunate. Idra is a very strong player, so no shame in losing to him. EGiNcontroL is, thank God for the censor on that one. But still, EGiNcontroL is the teammate of Greg, so this is going to be very interesting to see what EGiNcontroL can do against Attero, see if he can go ahead and win. Now this is PvP, and it is taking place on Nerazim Crypt, a very interesting map for a few reasons, chief of which is the third base in my own opinion, and these watchtowers. Those are probably the two things that I find most fascinating, as you can go ahead, get your normal natural expansion, then you can do a few things. You can either take this for your third, which has a ramp too, you can go in, back and forth, but it sort of is mirrored on each side. You can actually go ahead and take the natural, or over here for the third base, and it's weird in the aspect of that it leads into more bases, but your third is awkward to take as the ramp is almost always going away from you. I mean, it can lead to some weird situations, but it's hard to hold, especially because of this cliff that that goes over the third. That's what EGiNcontroL, from his point of view, if he takes this third, he has to worry about the cliff, which with Colossi is a very legitimate worry. So, Attero and EGiNcontroL are probably getting Colossi at some point in this game. I mean, it's generally what happens in PvP. You got a cool Phoenix play, Immortal play, but Colossi are still one of those dominant units that you really usually see in the matchup. As for right now, we actually have a lot of Chrome Boosts being saved for Attero, and if we look in the land of EGiNcontroL, he's actually got a Chrome Boost saved up as well, so we could be seeing 4 gates. A lot of people, though, like to make their builds look like 4 gates and then don't actually 4 gate. Just shows the threat and hopefully makes your opponent scared. And, oh, Attero might actually take out that probe. Attero! Oh, Attero gets a probe kill! Oh, that is unfortunate for EGiNcontroL. That's actually a pretty big loss, especially if EGiNcontroL is deciding to actually 4-gate. But he is Chrome boosting out this Stalker. Maybe he's trying to get that probe out so EGiNcontroL can go ahead, take his gas, do some form of other tech. But as of right now, Attero has thrown down another gateway. He is actually getting a sentry out, so he's not going to be 4-gating. It's very nice to see. We'll see how he's going to try and hold the possibility of a 4-gate, as from what he's seen, it's still a very possibility, but okay, so EGiNcontrol's gone down a Robo. So odds are we're going to see a 3-gate Robo opener from EGiNcontroL, though I have seen him do some Warp Prism play, so it could be a 4-gate with a Warp Prism. We'll see exactly what he's going to be doing fairly soon. Right now, it's just the second gas going down for Attero. EGiNcontroL is still without second gas, but he is getting down more gateways, so he's now up to 3 gates, and is he 4-gating? So he is doing a 4-gate with a Robo. Okay, another possibility that he might be doing is getting out an Immortal or 2 and doing a 4-gate, but or doing like an attack with a 3-gate Robo, but reinforcing with a 4-gate, allowing for a very strong push and reinforcing, and with a greater amount of DPS because of that Immortal presence. I've seen people do this, not in PvP actually, but in PvT. It's a strong bust game happening, but Attero's going for a Stargate, so this could be very cool, especially as this might actually really help him defend against this attack if he can lift off Immortals, assuming this is what... Okay, no, there's a Warp Prism going down. So I think my first guess was actually a little bit more adept as to what EGiNcontroL may be doing. Now, here we have these players moving out, but Attero has got 2 Stalkers. That's going to give him the advantage in this fight, and I think he'll actually be able to pull... oh wait, nope, EGiNcontrol's brought down another Stalker. Attero actually manages to pick off a Stalker, though. He could retreat with both the Stalkers alive. That's a very nice pick-off for him, and he gets the Watchtower with the probe, and EGiNcontroL did not see that. He's not aware of this probe. So he is going to have to use his War Prism and go for some nice harassment. He's got 4 Zealots in there. He can easily drop into the middle line. And Attero with this Stargate, though, if he starts getting out Phoenixes or something, then he could actually pick this off, or at the very least deter this War Prism from getting into the base, or kill it, do something, do some kind of damage where EGiNcrontroL is going to either have to go for it or drop the Zealots and run, because otherwise he's going to be very, very vulnerable. And we do have 4 Stalkers running up towards EGiNcrontroL, but with the sentry there, we could see a force field, and then there's going to be nothing that Attero can really do to push up that range. We see them dancing around that position. Attero's fully aware of the vulnerability of that base, but actually he's he could push forward, and he will. I mean, he's not gonna. Oh, he's not. He didn't pull back the Stalker. Why didn't you pull back the Stalker, Attero? Just saved the Stalker. You see, he's done almost no damage. I think he's done 3 hull damage to 2 Stalkers. That's about it. But Phoenix is out, and there we have the War Prism drop, doing tons of damage. A lot of Zealots are here, but now with this Phoenix, this War Prism will die. But can EGiNcrontroL do more damage? He's going to possibly take out some more probes. Very nice job with the harassment. You can see Attero actually distance mine from his natural expansion. But that's actually going to bring the probes back and allow the Zealots to do even more damage, but they're bunching up. And okay, so the War Prism did die, but more Zealots are being brought in. But the amount of probes that are getting taken out is a very huge loss to Attero. This is really, really unfortunate to actually see. It's going to try and come back into this, but Attero needs to micro to actually get back into this, because these Zealots are doing a lot of damage. Attero does manage to warp in some more units. Zealots are going down. EGiNcrontroL has invested a lot in this battle, but we still see more and more and more probes going down to horrible damage. I mean, right now EGiNcrontroL has killed 18 workers so far. This is definitely worth the loss of that War Prism. You see those Zealots are still alive and just getting so many kills. It is crazy. And that last Zealot doesn't actually fall, but look at those 2 very low health Zealots. I think it's 7, 8, or 7 or 6. I can't even read. That's a lot of damage. So EGiNcrontroL may just go for the push right now. You can see he's got a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers. He's going to basically transition into a normal 4-gate after killing so many of those units. Attero does have a couple of Phoenixes can help him lift off some units, but really he needs DPS. Avoider would be a lot better for him at this point in time, just because of the fact that it will dish damage and not have to worry about lifting people off in order to deal the damage. But as you can see, EGiNcrontroL is getting another War Prism, so you can go ahead and continue just doing multi-pronged attacks. I do know EGiNcrontroL is a very big fan of those. I think I saw him do a 4 or 5 pronged attack the other day against a Zerg on Tal'Darim. It was actually really, really cool. Now we see him pushing forward, and there is a nice force field. Attero has still got force fields available with those sentries, and he's continuing to mine gas as fast as he possibly can with fully loaded gas geysers. So he has every intention of keeping EGiNcrontroL out of the base, but that's not going to go well when wherever this War Prism is going to start moving out. Looks like there it is. Here we have Phoenixes. Oh, if they can catch the War Prism. Looks like the Phoenixes may actually catch the War Prism. EGiNcrontroL is moving forward, and there it is. Attero, are you... Oh, Attero, please tell me you look in the minimap and you actually realize you can take out the War Prism. That would be so key as he's continuing to warp, get some sentries out there to force field that ramp. But these Zealots are going into a weird spot. I think they're just looking for hidden things to go ahead and try and deal some kind of damage. But Attero is getting a nice pick off on this War Prism. It will not be able to do any form of damage. So all these units are being forced to come back. EGiNcrontroL could just expand right now, but he's actually in a Stargate of his own. He's staying on one base. Second gas is only just now coming in as all these Zealots and Stalkers are pulling away. And it seems that Attero may be able to legitimately stabilize himself right now, as he's only behind 6 probes at the moment. EGiNcrontroL did cut a lot of probes for that attack, and the food count is even. We see more Phoenixes are actually being warped in for Attero, so we can continue being aggressive, put some of the hurt onto EGiNcrontroL. Actually, just look at the mining and everything. Yeah, EGiNcrontroL has actually mined more minerals in every single category than Attero, but Attero is still managing to be ahead in the food count. Very nice job. And picking off some Stalkers. Great use of the Phoenixes. Those Stalkers will be huge in helping Attero not get overrun, as EGiNcrontroL is going for a purely Zealot Stalker army right now, but he's going to be forced to emphasize the Stalkers because of these Phoenixes, and now we're going to see that Zealot's going to take it out. It's a pretty nice kill. Any beefy unit that Attero can take out is very, very strong. We should have a cannon going down. Okay, so we have a forge that went down for EGiNcrontroL. So that's actually a pretty big deal. He's fearing the Dark Templar, but that's not a worry, as Attero is just trying to get out probes and some more probes. and EGiNcontroL is trying to get up his expo. He doesn't have enough money for it quite yet. This pylon should fall as we're having the Phoenixes taking some hits. Looks like that guy will take only 30 damage and then be perfectly happy. EGiNcontrol's probe is actually still being allowed to live. Now we see pushing forward. You have some forces going down, but the Zealots are still in there ready to do some damage, and that photon cannon is going to be a huge boon to the defense capabilities of EGiNcontroL. But there are a lot of sentries being very, very annoying and cost effective for Attero, but Phoenixes of EGiNcontrol's own are out, and actually that means that Attero is behind the Phoenix count, and that is bad. Whenever you're in Phoenix Wars, you need to have a lead. It's so similar to Mutalisk fights. The Phoenixes, you've got to have more. If you don't, you're done. It's that simple. So EGiNcontrol's got 3. That means he can pick up, lift off a probe, and kill it in one shot, which is a pretty big deal. So now we can see Attero getting more Phoenix out. He's now up to the count of 2, which is definitely less than EGiNcontroL has. It's actually, it's 4-2 now. That's really unfortunate for Attero, but he is getting out his Robo. He's not expanding yet, while EGiNcontroL has thrown down his Expo. So Attero does have a forward pylon in here. It's about to get scouted by EGiNcontrol's army, so that's not going to last very long at all. But still, Attero is behind so much. EGiNcontroL has been taking little tiny edges this entire game, and that War Prism harass was a huge edge. It was a lot more than a little tiny edge. But still, Attero's being forced to go back and defend. He's building pylons. He did get supply block when he lost that pylon over there. And now we're going to see if EGiNcontroL can go ahead and use this very large count of Phoenixes to actually get himself an advantage. Attero is continuing to get more Phoenixes, but so is EGiNcontroL. In fact, EGiNcontroL just finished another one, plus his Expos here, and he's getting a couple of cannons just to be safe. More than a couple of cannons, he's getting 3 cannons, because he knows he's so far ahead. As long as he can stay alive and not take really that much damage from Attero, he can just make units and push, and that'll give him such a nice advantage in this game. So that's just for the fun of it. There's no air upgrades coming out of Attero. For EGiNcontroL, there are no air upgrades either, but still, EGiNcontroL has got 6 Phoenixes, which is really, really important. Attero's only got 5. One of his is actually pretty hurt. EGiNcontrol's got one that is actually hurt a little bit more, but EGiNcontrol has the lead by 1 Phoenix, and that will give him the win. If these Phoenixes do engage, they are running around, observers out, and if Attero can actually reinforce with this Phoenix, keep them together, and get a better clump and target firings of these Phoenixes, then that could mean that Attero could take an advantage. But if he moves in and harasses, there is a cannon there to defend, but EGiNcontrol could take some damage, and Attero is choosing to expand on his own. And now we're going to see him moving forward. There's going to be seeing a bunch of probes getting taken out, and EGiNcontrol is choosing to return with his Phoenixes while this is happening. And now we're going to go ahead and continue pushing forward. A lot of probes have fallen, looking really, really solid over there, as the Phoenixes are actually engaging, and we can see Attero taking all the losses against those Phoenixes. That is very, very unfortunate. Attero only has 1 Phoenix now. It's actually going for Colossi, but Phoenixes are pretty solid against Colossi, and Attero just took huge losses, but the probe count is now 24 for EGiNcontroL and 33 for Attero, and now we are going to be watching as Attero is just going to go ahead and just be as defensive as he possibly can be, because he needs to be. He does not have the formality to be able to be aggressive. I don't know if that's really a formality, but he doesn't have the option of being aggressive. He's going to see him pushing in, and now EGiNcontrol's going to be able to take down lots and lots of probies, just taking off those guys that are in the gas that weren't picked off. And they don't even get to return the gas to Attero. EGiNcontrol's going to go ahead and pick them off and just be happy and content with that kind of damage. Now he's back in the main base of EGiNcontroL. He is getting outcharged, and notice how few probes he has in that mineral line. Most of his probes are down here. He doesn't have as many as you might think. The income is actually fairly even, as we do see Attero's ahead in the probe count right now, and that's actually going to be a pretty important deal. He's actually really well saturated at this natural expansion, but we are going to see that change a little bit as these things are going to move forward. Probably, never mind. Actually, Attero's going to get his stalkers in a good enough position to prevent the harassment. Actually, I think he just scouted with that Phoenix. He did see all those cannons and knows he can't push, but did he see those Archons? That'd be a pretty big deal if he did. And EGiNcontroL is upgrading his weapons. Very smart move. Upgrades are so important in PvP. Few people really actually understand the prevalence and importance of doing that and how necessary it really is. But EGiNcontroL will pick off a single probe and then just get out of there. But he does see the robotics bay. He sees the Colossus and the Chrono Boost on extended thermal lance, and that's very important, as Attero is going for for that strong, beefy unit, while EGiNcontroL is getting a third, and that could be dangerous. EGiNcontroL does have a nice presence, and Attero is actually going to lose that Phoenix. Where the Phoenix is from EGiNcontroL, he's got to pick that off. I don't think he actually will, and it's actually not a big deal at all. Attero can't really make use of this singular Phoenix. What he does need is a nice concave to be able to defend and attack. As we're going to move forward, Stalker's going to move in, EGiNcontroL pulling back. Nice reaction timing with those Phoenixes to pull him back before they even really take any damage at all. This guy's only taking 10 damage onto his non-shields. But EGiNcontroL is definitely happy with his lead so far. No one's really producing probes anymore, and Attero has the lead. That could really help him out, especially with EGiNcontroL getting up this expo. He's not producing probes, so he can transfer and have a nice saturation already. He is just simply making sure to get out the units that he needs and have that base for when he really wants it. He's basically staying on just one base of income. Now with this double robo coming, Attero's going to have a lot of Colossi to the point where this Phoenix count is going to need to be improved, as EGiNcontroL is not getting much else. He's just getting out this forge. His robo is idle. He's getting down more gateways. He's just basically transitioning to charge slot Archon for the most part, which is a great composition. But with enough Colossi, it'll be rendered useless in a lot of aspects, but there is goodbye to that Phoenix. God, Phoenixes kill Phoenixes really quickly. They do extra damage to light, and it really is effective. So now we're going to see that these Phoenixes are just going to go continue being pesky and just running around and just trying to take out what they really can. But Attero's got a very nice spread of units. He's got a couple full energy sentries too, so that's a lot of Guardian Shield. That's the main thing I do want to point out, is the Guardian Shield capabilities, as the Stalker count and Archons will be a tiny bit decreased. Archons do have a ranged attack. EGiNcontroL, though, he's relying mostly on Zealots and Archons, and Zealots fall very quickly to the Colossi. Even though Archons are good against Zealots, I don't think they're quite as good against in this army competition that these players would be going up against each other with, because Colossi have that sweeping area effect damage, while the Archons will only attack 3 Zealots at most when they're in a line, because it's just the adjacent Zealots to the one that they're attacking that will get damaged. So it'll be a nice battle of the splashes from the Protoss units to see who's really going to come out on top. Let's see. Plus, Archons are also better to be dealt with in terms of having Stalker support and Sentry support. But the things that are really going to help them is the fact that they are not susceptible to force fields. They will break the force fields and allow the Zealots of EGiNcontroL to really deal damage. But the big question about this matchup is going to be these Phoenixes of EGiNcontroL. He's got such a high Phoenix count. Will it be enough to nullify this massive amount of Colossi? Double Robo Colossus is a huge force to be reckoned with, and I think Attero is just prepping for a huge 2-base push at the moment. And now EGiNcontroL does have this cannon, once again, being safe against DTs, and EGiNcontroL may be going ahead and harassing at the same time. That'll be key for dealing with Attero's push down here. But EGiNcontroL may just be getting ready for a backstab or a double-pronged attack if he so desires. But EGiNcontrol's army is not that large at the moment. He's literally got 6 Archons, 13 Zealots, 5 Stalkers, and the Phoenixes, while Attero's got these 5 Colossi. It's not even, and he's got a lot of Zealots and a lot of Stalkers. It's a very strong army, and not able to put down the proxy pylon. That's unfortunate. That will slow the reinforcements down from Attero, but the Phoenixes are so vulnerable, and see Attero pushing forward. EGiNcontroL is going to push them back, possibly try and snipe the Colossus, but no, he will lose a Phoenix, but replenishes it with another one, so not a big loss over there. Still maintaining that 9 count, but here we go, cliffing this base, but still those Colossi are in the front, and all these are bunched up, will be very vulnerable to the splash damage, as we are going to see moving in, and no force fields for you, Attero, but all these units are clumped up, and these Colossi are being so effective right now. Even with the Phoenixes that are in play, you can see the Stalkers are doing a nice job of taking those Phoenixes out. Colossi are still there, and the ground army for EGiNcontroL is melting, absolutely melting. But you see more Charizards coming in for EGiNcontroL, but he's using the high ground. Attero's using the high ground to his advantage, and 1 Colossus is remaining, but this Stalker count is huge. Zealots are still in play, and this base could easily fall, and Attero with the double robe Colossus doing a very nice job in managing to really be able to help us out, and see EGiNcontroL forced out to build some more Archons, but this double robo Colossus do too much damage and not able to be dealt with by the Phoenixes fast enough. Now we can see Attero moving forward and take down this base, take down all those probes, and EGiNcontroL didn't have many to begin with. He's been keeping a low probe count, trying to get that strong army, cost-effective army with the Zealots and the Archons mostly, and now he's down to 29 probes from Attero's 39. And Attero's got the second base that's still mining at very nice capacity. In control, you can see he's got a lot fewer probes, so it's only 16, the minimum at that base. You can see Attero's gone past his one control group, and he can just pull back and retreat, expand, and utilize that advantage that he has. So now we're seeing him pushing in, and oh, the Charizard's now going to be very, very effective. Another Colossus, more Stalkers are here, as we are going to see the Phoenixes taking down the Colossi unless they get targeted down. They are getting targeted down, keeping the Colossi alive. Very important move from Attero, but now we're going to see those Archons are not going to be faring too well right now. The Stalker Colossus army is just universally great, and now Attero's up almost double the food of EGiNcrontroL, 89 to 49. Very nice job, as Attero looks like he might go ahead and expand. There it is. That Nexus is going to go down from that probe, and Attero's in a beautiful position. 39 probes to 29 probes still. EGiNcrontroL is not even producing probes. He's just producing units with some more units, and he's actually still rallied over here. That's going to hurt him a lot. He needs to actually have them rallied over here, try and get that. You can see he only has a single probe on this mineral patch, and he's losing a lot of mining because of this. He does have this pro scouting around. He will be able to see that this third base is only just now going down for Attero, and that may give him the inkling that he's still in this game, as he's basically continuing to produce just Zealots and Archons, which against the Colossi of Attero with that double Robo, it's not going to fare. We've already seen Attero's competition going up against EGiNcrontroL when EGiNcrontroL had an advantage almost every single way, and oh, he's going to make cannon this base. EGiNcrontroL using this little tiny nook and cranny to his advantage, and Attero has no idea. Or this may just go ahead and allow him to warp in some units, possibly try and lure Attero outside the base, and then warp in a bunch of Zealots to go ahead and attack, as Attero doesn't have any pilots over here to warp in reinforcements of his own. It's just these Colossi here. We do have this Observer going down, but oh, Attero sees it. Attero sees EGiNcrontrol's pilots, and we need to take that out, and there's still no third beam put back up for EGiNcrontrol. He's just letting Attero get farther and farther and farther ahead. One thing that EGiNcrontrol does have going for him are his upgrades. If you see this, he's got the +3 attack, and that is a pretty big deal. Attero's got the +1 attack, and that is it, but he's got the +1 armor about to be done, and that'll help him out a little bit more. But to be honest, it's not a big worry at all for him, because he just has so many more units with better units. The Charizards are great and all, but they just bunch up for the Colossi to hit. And Attero, he's not producing right now, but he's got, oh my god, he's got so much gas. He can just throw down Templar Archives and get down a ton of Archons, and he actually is doing exactly that. His Templar Archives is about to be done, and when those Archons come in, there's going to be nothing EGiNcrontrol can do. He might be able to push it before Archons complete, but here we go. Now we're going to see the first Archon starting to morph, and I think all that's stopping Attero is the fact that he only has 4 gateways that are functional at the moment. But now we see EGiNcrontrol prepping to push in. We do have a proxy pylon being thrown down by those units. It looks like he's going to be going and actually attacking his third, or trying to. But Attero's going to be able to push in. He's got, there we go. Here we have the Archons moving in. Archons against Archons. All those Stalkers are there. Colossi doing a nice bit of damage against the Zealots. But EGiNcrontrol's got a nice surround. Zealots are up against the Colossi. That's not good for them. And it looks like EGiNcrontrol may actually be able to push in and do a lot of damage. God, Archons are just good. Stalkers do not have Blink. And we need to see reinforcement warp-ins coming from Attero if he wants to have a chance of holding this, because as of right now, he is losing his army. Those Charizards and Archons are moving in. That +3 attack is so key, and we do have Zealots attacking inside his mineral line at this exact same time. Nice move by EGiNcrontrol, and now Attero is the one looking to be in a rough position, down to very low food count. He lost a lot of probes, and as of right now, it's look at EGiNcrontrol's killed 45 workers to 36 of Attero. EGiNcrontrol doesn't even care that he's not really mining that well in those bases. We're going to see him pushing forward, a lot more Zealots, a lot more Archons. That +3 attack is probably what made the difference in that engagement, considering that he had the inferior army composition. Plus Attero had a unfortunate positioning, and all the Archons splashed, taking out so many probes. 10 kills, 11 kills, 4 kills. Oh, these Archons are stealing so much damage. Now Attero's trying to do work, but he's got very little he can do, and I think EGiNcrontrol's going to be able to take this game. And there it is. GG, sir. Well played. Definitely true. EGiNcrontrol being able to play a very tight game, just very well done. Attero had a large opening, but EGiNcrontrol pushing it at the perfect timing right before Attero was able to warp in all of those Archons, because that could have made a difference in that battle. He had the gas for it, but just didn't have the gateway count. So if Attero had 2 or 3 more gateways sooner, it could have been a completely different game. EGiNcontroL managing to really take advantage of Attero's bad positioning. Well done, and looks like Attero is not doing so well against Evil Geniuses, with Idra and EGiNcontroL both taking away his ladder points, but definitely well played by both players. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I like Attero, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at some more games. Thank you very much.